With Notori, we're looking to try and tackle a slightly different use case, but similar in a lot of ways. If you think about what Asaf just showed, a 10 product carousel, when it came to Notori, we went bigger effectively. So we started looking at what can we do to provide customization and give the customer the ability to have full control over the PLP. So probably some of the main pages that customers will go to find products. And traditionally, as you see on the screen here, this is one of the Notori PLPs that we've rebuilt. Traditionally, PLPs very usually driven by very templated design, meaning that if you go to look at, say, 10 different websites and look at their PLP or product listing page, you're probably going to get a very similar look and feel to what we're seeing at the moment. So this is a 4x6 24 product grid, but again, this has been completely rebuilt and faster. And we did this to solve mainly two use cases for Notori. The first one is Notori use a tool for their merchandising strategies called SearchSpring. SearchSpring is a very good tool for building out category pages in particular, because you can enter in certain criteria about how you want to group products together, how you want to merchandise effectively. And SearchSpring will go off and be very good at getting that data together and putting it in a form that seems to make sense for your products. But something that Notori found they were lacking from that SearchSpring is what SearchSpring to provide are the typical static sort of templates that we see for product landing pages or listing pages even, or PLPs. So the first sort of use case we're looking to tackle here was how can we use that ability in Faster to pull that data in dynamically, but then give the customer the ability to swap and shape this around. The second use case, and the one that I'll actually show first to begin with Notori, was Notori spend a lot of investment into their social media advertising strategy. They send out lots of posts via Instagram, Facebook, the usual sort of social media platforms, advertising their products, and those products link back to the PLP that product can be found on. Now, social media posts persist for usually quite a long time. You may find that customers go to visit or come across your social media post maybe 6 months later. And by that time, that product could well have fallen down the PLP. It might not even be on page 1 of the PLP anymore. So the thing that's attracted the customer to the site for Notori to go and make a purchase is not the thing that's in front of the customer when they land on that page. Now, to tackle that, Notori could well have built out lots of different, slightly more static PLPs that each social media post linked to. But with the kind of social media strategy they have, over time, that would become cumbersome. In fact, it wouldn't even take a very long time for it to become cumbersome and unmanageable for Notori. So what we look to do is, whilst we were rebuilding this PLP, is think of a way that we could potentially have Notori pass something to us when a customer visits the site via a social media post that says, hey, the customer clicked on this product, they're really interested in this one, go and put it in slot number 1 of the PLP. And if you can see here, this is a current PLP with no extra parameters on it. And if I just flick to my next tab here, this is the same PLP. And all that Notori are doing on their social media adverts is tagging a product SKU. And being merchandisers, they are very familiar with their product SKUs and they're very happy to work with product SKUs. And all they're doing is tagging a product SKU. And we can see here, if I just flip back to the first one and go back again, that we've replaced the first product in the grid with the product that brought the customer to them. So now when the customer's interested in making a purchase, they don't need to go any further than looking for what the first product is. And the way that we've built this out, we actually support multiple products. Notori could, in theory, pass us 24 SKUs and what's on the first page, for example, and we would redo the whole page with just those SKU-based products. So again, what does this look like in the background? So if I go into the back end of the platform, we can see we've got a board layout here. And each of these product tiles, very similar to the carousel example that Asaf showed you, each of these product tiles contains a range of information based on what those products provide. So let's just go back to the front again. We've got brand names, pricing. We're dynamically calculating pricing to show different versions of pricing depending on what the pricing is for that product. So in this case, for example, all variants are the same price. In the next example along, all variants are below the master price, which is why we've got the strike through, but not all variants are the same price, so we're generating a range of pricing instead. So very simple, nice, easy way, but all Notori need to worry about is where their price label goes on their product tile. And again, just as Asaf showed, we've got behaviors there saying go and take whatever that price label is and swap it out with what we got back from the data. Interesting to note on here as well that we are also tying into a second source of data on this PLP, which is Yotpo, which Notori used to generate their review system. So we're getting that as well. And as Asaf mentioned as well, lots of products with Notori have lots of different variants, meaning that they have different options to show. We're no different here. We're pulling through the different color swatches, and those color swatches are completely clickable and interactable, as you might expect. And in actual fact, because of the way we built this data, we've captured every possible variant that this page could be up front. So when a customer of Notori's clicks on one of these color swatches, we're not reloading the page. We're just simply telling the page, this is how you're meant to look now based on a customer click, which means that we're actually seeing performance improvements on this page based on the fact that we're not having to reload any pages or recall any data. But just to satisfy that first use case I mentioned as well, what if Notori want to come in here and start breaking the mold when it comes to PLPs? Perhaps they want to put in an interrupter or two. If I just copy and paste an interrupter onto the page here, we can see just simply be me copying and pasting that interrupter on. If I just drag it out and maybe stick it up here, and the fact that we built this grid out with a flex layout, so all the things are snapping into places they should, that was a couple of clicks for me to drop an interrupter onto that page and to put some advertising in there. That's a full width for the page interrupter, but there's no reason why we couldn't do the same thing to drop in images instead here. And that's the Notori example.